all the time speak about protein, but I checked and I discovered myself that in the mother milk there is a very, very low percentage of the protein, something like 0.3%, like in the fruits, more or less. So why we worry
more
so
like
much
5% of calories, yeah. Why do we worry so much about it for adults? Well, there is a case to be made that we don't need to worry about protein, and there's also a case to be made that it's important to take some care, because sometimes vegetarians think either way you can get into problems and not do it accurately. With infant diets, we have a type of protein that is extremely well absorbed. The balance of amino acids is excellent, and the absorption is ideal. So what's in mother's milk is the best. When you're eating a diet that's not mother's milk, it's made of plant foods, we need somewhat more protein, and for adults. So instead of 5% calories from protein, we need more like 10 to 15. That's better.
I don't understand why.
Well, the absorption, we can look at the amount of protein, but we also need to look at the composition of amino acids, and we also need to look at the absorption, the percentage we absorb. Do we do this with 100% efficiency or what efficiency? And we find that with mother's milk, the absorption is very, very good.
Okay.
And also the balance of amino acids is very good, just ideal for that little baby. But for adults, when we're choosing a different diet, the absorption is less, the balance of amino acids is not quite as perfect. Yes. So, but we can do it easily on a vegan diet.
So how do our cousins, frugivore,
how do they manage?
They can get this protein just from the fruits?
Well, actually, in some of the Gießen studies that were done in Germany, and they had 500 people on raw food diets, some of them did not do that well. One woman in 4 lost her menstrual period, a woman of childbearing age, and they were on diets that were mainly fruit and were low in calories. So the point here is not to pick just an entirely fruit-based diet, and by that entirely I mean like 75% of the calories come from fruit. It's better to make sure, even if you want to be entirely raw, that you include some nuts and seeds. And this means like about 2/3 of a cup to a cup of nuts and seeds. You also want to include some vegetables because the greens give you calcium. There's not so much calcium in fruits. So if you want to get the whole balance of minerals, of vitamins, it's not just protein. It's good to pick, a diet that's high in fruit can be helpful, but not the very, very high fruit-centered diets.
But if we were living in the tropics, and we were eating fruits like fruits used to be 200 years ago, would it be enough to eat just fruits? Like the monkeys, they can live happily just with bananas or I don't know.
They
mangoes.
do, but the fruits that were in nature are different from what are cultivated now. They've actually cultivated fruits because we like the taste that are much higher in sugar and lower in other nutrients. So what you find in the store is different from what a gorilla would have found or a monkey, 10,000 years ago. And that's been evolving. As we cultivated, we thought, oh, these bananas are so sweet. We like these ones, But they ate fruit that was a little more like vegetables, was a little more high in nutrition. They also occasionally got a bug once in a while because they were eating fruits and they would get a bit of vitamin B12 from insects. So they would eat a few other things that were not strictly vegan.
Okay, if you nowadays, if you had to write a new book, how to become fruitarians.
Fruitarian, yeah.
What would you suggest?
Well, we actually do that in here. We have a number of menus, and we've picked some that were very high in fruit. And because one of the fun things for me is to, let's see, here's one. Fruit, greens, seeds, and nuts. And so we pick very specifically in menu 3 and menu 4, just show people if you're going to have a day that's entirely nutritionally adequate. For example, here you would have 2 cups of strawberries, 2 peaches, 2 oranges, and some romaine lettuce for breakfast. Big fruit breakfast. Then you could have a melon salad for lunch, and that has a few nuts in it. And then you could have a salad bar for supper that has lots of vegetables in it, and some more raw veggies, and a salad dressing that has a vitamin B12 fortified nutritional yeast. And then you could have some other things like figs that are high in calcium, and some seeds, and some more fruit. So we've shown people, okay, this day will meet your protein, your calcium. It'll just give you all the minerals you need, all the vitamins. And so then on another day, we just showed people how to do this by weight. Like this, you eat this 2.5 kilograms of fruit. You eat 600 grams of greens. You eat 90 grams of nuts and seeds, and then make sure you have a vitamin B12 source. So we could just show people, give people some simple guidelines, and then they know, okay. And this is very different from eating the tiny little salads that you sometimes get at a restaurant. Like people on raw diets, they eat a salad that's this big. It's really big, and make a wonderful dressing that's from Vitamixed or pureed vegetables. And
I suppose it's going to take long time to eat all of it.
To eat it, it does. One person, Dr. David Jenkins, he's a medical doctor at the University of Toronto, and he developed the glycemic index. He did a study called the Simian diet, and he found that it took people 6 hours to eat the properly and maintain their weight on what was a raw diet.